Welcome back to SecretSpool's Motivational Monday. I'm Rachel, and tonight's story is for anyone who has ever apologized simply for taking up space. If you've ever carried blame that wasn't yours, softened your voice so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable, or said sorry before you even knew what for, this one might feel familiar and freeing. Let's take a deep breath and step into it together. I used to apologize for everything, and I don't mean the sensible, everyday mistakes. I mean the tiny, harmless moments of living, the ones that didn't require anything from me except existing. If someone bumped into me, I apologized. If someone else forgot a deadline, I apologized. If someone misheard what I said, even though I spoke clearly, I apologized again. It wasn't thought out. The word just lived right on the edge of my tongue, ready to jump out before I even processed what was happening. It took me years to recognize how deeply that behavior shaped my identity. At the time, it felt normal, like the quiet price of being perceived as agreeable or easygoing. I had convinced myself that keeping everyone else comfortable was my job, even if it meant slowly shrinking myself until my opinions, needs, and feelings barely had room to breathe. The habit wasn't something I consciously built. Growing up, the unspoken rule in my home was simple: keep the peace at all costs. If someone seemed irritated, tense, or overwhelmed, everyone else adjusted themselves around that emotion, like furniture being rearranged to avoid a crack in the floor. I became an expert in smoothing things over, and apologies became my shortcut, a quick way to mend something that wasn't even broken. By the time I entered adulthood, apologizing wasn't just something I did. It was how I navigated the world. I apologized when asking for help, when taking too long to respond, when responding too quickly. I apologized for asking questions in meetings. I apologized for stepping aside in a crowded hallway. I apologized when I wasn't sure what else to do. It became a language of self-erasure, a way of telling myself that my existence needed constant justification. One day at work, a team project stalled because someone else didn't complete their portion. When our supervisor asked what happened, the familiar phrase slipped out: "I'm really sorry, I should have followed up." The room paused. My coworker blinked at me and said gently, "But you weren't even on that part." Her confusion stung more than any criticism because, for the first time, I realized my apology didn't even make sense. It wasn't helpful. It was habitual. Later that afternoon, I sat alone at my desk, replaying the moment. I realized that apologizing didn't protect me from discomfort. It erased me. Every time I apologized for something beyond my control, I was quietly telling myself that other people's needs carried more weight than my presence. I had never questioned it until that moment, and the realization felt heavy and strangely hopeful, like opening a window in a room I didn't know had grown stuffy. The turning point itself was small. I was in the break room getting coffee when one coworker accidentally bumped into another. The person who was bumped into didn't shrink, didn't apologize, didn't look flustered. They simply said, "Excuse me, mind if I get by?" And the other person smiled, stepped aside, and continued their conversation. It was so ordinary, so quietly confident, that I found myself staring, wondering how something so simple felt so foreign to me. That moment planted a seed. Maybe existing didn't have to feel like tiptoeing. Maybe I could take up space without being afraid. The next day, someone brushed past me in the hallway, and I felt the familiar apology forming, ready to spill out. But I stopped it. Instead, I said, "Excuse me," just like I had heard in the break room. It felt unfamiliar, almost rebellious, like trying on a new coat that didn't fit yet but made me stand taller anyway. After that, I started testing boundaries, soft ones at first. When my phone buzzed with a late request that wasn't urgent, instead of immediately apologizing for not being available sooner, I simply replied with clarity. When someone asked me to take on extra work I didn't have capacity for, I practiced saying, "I won't be able to take that on right now." The first time someone pushed back, frustration flickering in their tone, I nearly folded. But I repeated my boundary calmly, without apology, and to my surprise, the world didn't crack open. I realized that other people's emotions were not indicators of my worth. Their disappointment wasn't proof that I did something wrong. Their frustration wasn't a sign that I needed to fix things. Understanding this felt like learning a new language, one where honesty wasn't the enemy of kindness, and where no didn't make me the villain. It made me human. Little by little, the unnecessary apologies faded. Not completely. Old habits don't disappear overnight, but I became aware of them. I caught the sorry before it left my mouth and asked myself whether it belonged there. Most of the time, it didn't. And every time I chose differently, I felt a small shift inside. A gentle reclaiming of space I hadn't realized I'd surrendered. But the moment I truly understood my growth didn't happen at work. It happened at home. After a long, draining day, I curled up with one of my favorite games, something simple and comforting, a small world where I could just exist without pressure. As I played, something inside me softened, and this unexpected sense of lightness settled over me like a warm blanket. For the first time in years, I wasn't carrying someone else's weight. I wasn't anticipating mistakes I hadn't made yet. I wasn't preparing apologies for situations that hadn't happened. I wasn't tiptoeing through my own life. I was simply in the moment, breathing, thinking, existing, without guilt trailing behind me like a shadow. That's not to say it's easy now. Some days I still flinch internally when I assert a boundary. Some days I still feel the instinct to apologize for needing rest, clarity, or time. Some days I feel the old fear that someone will be upset with me for daring to be human. But each time I choose honesty over avoidance and respect over fear, I remind myself that my voice doesn't need permission to be here. The lesson I've learned is that I deserve to exist without apologizing for it. So do you. You deserve room to breathe. You deserve people who respect your boundaries. You deserve conversations where your needs aren't treated like inconveniences. And you deserve a life where you don't have to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Existing isn't something you have to earn. It's a right you already have. Thank you for spending part of your Motivational Monday with me here on SecretSpool. If this story encouraged you to claim a little more space in your own life, I hope you carry that confidence into the days ahead. And if tonight's message resonated with you, don't forget to like the video. Leave a comment sharing your own experience with unnecessary apologies. and subscribe so you never miss a new story. You deserve to be here, and I'll see you next time.